This is something that can happen in any economy, but in a bad economy, it happens all too often.
Hi, welcome to today's video, and today's topic is recently I've been offered a job, recently it was taken away again. The offer's been retracted. What should I do?
Ideally, the business that you work for, when they offer the job, will have some visibility on their budget so that this isn't going to happen. But I have seen it happen in the past, and we're seeing it happen at the moment. I think one of the key things to look at, first of all, is your legal right. So within your contract, do you have a notice period that even if you haven't started your job, you might be able to claim? Maybe there's a week, maybe there's a month, but you should be entitled to some sort of payment. And maybe the company that's retracted the offer, particularly if you've left your job in order to start theirs, maybe they'll do something to make your situation a little bit better. But I think understanding the kind of legal side and your rights to some form of payment is probably the first step. What do you reckon?
Yeah, so contractually, as Chris said, obviously check all the documentation, all the contracts, what were the terms and conditions, even ask that company themselves, like, hey, you know, I know you've retracted the offer, but what was due for me? That's the contractual side. My answer is going to be more of a mentality and mindset side. I've had this happen to me before, actually.
Right.
Thinking that I had a job, went away traveling somewhere, super happy, and then it turns out it was retracted. You have to stay positive. Now, I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive. What? I've been offered a job, it was taken away, how can I be positive? You have to look at the good side of this. Did you then, even if you did argue your way back in and they gave you the job now because you kicked up a fuss, would you want to work somewhere where you knew initially they had retracted your job offer and now you're going to be working there always wondering, why did they give it to me? Was it because legally I pressured them? Do they really want me? Stay positive. Take this as a chance to look again for something that you really want. Take this as experience. That's all you can do. Learn from this. You didn't do anything wrong. It was taken away for reasons probably outside of your control. But where will you go from here? Staying positive, find the next steps, keep your mindset straight, basically, and move on to the next step.
Yeah, I think I'd add to that, you know, particularly in the current like economic times, sometimes businesses are going to be put in this difficult situation where they have to retract an offer. And depending on your view of that employer, maybe you might find that you want to work there in the future. Maybe there's a way that you could freelance for them right now. I think once you're beyond the initial shock and frustration of having an offer retracted, some open communication with that company around what's the option for maybe you take a couple of months off and then you come in and start with them, so delaying your start date if you can afford to. Maybe you freelance with them for a period of time while they're then securing the budget to make this a permanent hire. So maybe the option of talking to them about coming on board gradually or at a later date might be a better one than immediately moving away from them and being frustrated forever. And the other point I'd make is there's always a possibility of going back to your last firm. You know, if you've left a job, their role is still open. Obviously, there's a challenge there from maybe a pride perspective, maybe from people that you've left behind, but it's not necessarily a time to be overly precious. It's a time to be working. And I think if you can look for a way to find work during this transitional time, that's the most important thing.
That's a super key point that Chris just made just there. I would phrase this as, don't burn your bridges. Like, I know they retracted the offer. I know it's unfair. I know that shouldn't have happened. But as I mentioned, sometimes it's not the person who hired you. It's not the boss who hired you. It's the company. Maybe they have reasons that were out of your control, but don't go hating or holding a grudge against them, because you never know, half a year later, that position might come back online. Exactly. And they might ask you, but you probably, because you are angry at them, they probably won't approach you. Be nice about it. Always be positive about it. It's an opportunity for you to take an extended break maybe, or to go do something else, and then keep in touch with them, see how it's like in the future, but just don't burn your bridges. And that's about past and present, and also future jobs. So stay positive, keep looking for what you can. That's what I would say.
Yeah, amazing. If you've got any other questions about this, drop them in the comments below and we'll try and get back to you.
Cool, thanks, and see you in the next video.